even more amenities.
One of the unusual components of that park will be an art plaza under the bridge, which will take advantage of an existing pathway into the river. That will eventually connect to a bike path all through downtown that Metro is the project manager for.
Gear up for some big changes over the next several years, and you'll have a say in how it will all look. Stay updated on the river's progress as well as community meetings at eng.lacity.org. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
For 50 years, Chuck Levin has been tirelessly working to get people registered to vote. This week, he was honored by council at Voter Registration Day.
I declare Chuck Levin and Voter Registration Day in the city of Los Angeles.
In 1968, I started registering voters in Westwood Village at Stan's Donuts, and I still do. For 50 years, a week hasn't gone by that I haven't been registering voters somewhere in the streets of LA, and I just believe in making voter registration as accessible as possible, being out on the street, at a table or at a movie line, answering questions, talking to people, having conversations, discussing their right to vote, their privilege to vote, and their responsibility to vote.
It's my honor to have known Chuck Levin, who I'm pleased to call my dear friend, for 45 years. Well, I'm very excited to have us declare both Voter Registration Day and Chuck Levin Day. Chuck has been a volunteer voter registrar for over 50 years. He's registered over 14,000 people. His mother registered over 47,000 people in her lifetime.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few words about Chuck and his incredible work. You inherited the family business, and your mom passed down a recipe for democracy.
And Chuck, it's unbelievable to me that you have been a volunteer registrar for 50 years. That's, I think, indicative of who he is.
You should be inspired by what you've done, Chuck, and what all of you here who are engaged in registration are doing. Inspired to register people to vote, to change the world. That's how we do it. We register people to vote, and we have warriors like Chuck Levin on the front lines. Thank you, Chuck, for all you do, and happy Voter Registration Day.
Feeling inspired? You can register to vote online at registertovote.ca.gov. Libraries are more than just a place for books. There are community centers. Anna Marcos takes us to Durant Branch Library, where celebrity stylists share their talents with those in need.
Get ready for the star treatment at this hairstyling joint. The hairdressers are celebrity stylists. The setting, the back parking lot of the Durant Branch Library in Hollywood. And the clientele are homeless residents.
I'm going bald. I just like the way it looks.
This is the Source program at the LA Public Library's Durant Branch. On the last Thursday of every month, celebrity stylists, who often trim the locks of famous people, come to give the A-list treatment to homeless folks in need of a haircut and some TLC.
Well, when I was a kid, I was in the foster system, and I was homeless at 13. You know, I'm just giving back to the community. I know what it's like to be down and out, and I feel good. I feel good when I do this. It actually warms my heart.
It's important to help people out as much as possible.
Hairdressing is my craft, so I just love the art of hairdressing, but more importantly, the whole reason why I do it is just to help people.
I think it's truly a blessing from God, and it's a good thing that someone cares.
But hairstyling isn't the only thing going on here. Look at this. There is free food here. There are referrals to medical services and housing, and even free cell phones.
You learn that you're part of a community when you're part of a library, and a big part of my community are people who need help like this.
And some of that help appears to be finger-licking good. Meanwhile, Samantha Jackson and her 3 kids just arrived here from Ohio.
I think it's awesome because it's a lot of people that need help. A lot.
And it seems that this library, at least, takes care of the dogs, too. The Source program is now at 5 LA Public Library branches, and soon there will be 2 more, which will mean a lot more homeless residents getting treated like VIPs. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Looking for a little art in your life this weekend? Check out All Lit Up at Chinatown's Blossom Plaza.
The All Lit Up exhibit at the Eastern Projects Gallery in Chinatown is all about neon. And what better medium to shine a light on our times? One exhibit called It's All About Selfie reflects our own self-obsessed selfie culture.
The mannequins were chosen for very specific reasons. They don't have facial features. They're completely blank. And so that's just a statement about how people become when they're taking a selfie. They're just kind of mindless drones, essentially.
The opening night, just to prove our point, our social experiment even more, there was a gentleman who was, I would say, 35 years of age, jumping into our installation to get a photo of himself in the installation and ended up breaking the neon. This is an example of no selfie control.
There may be no selfie control, but it sure takes a lot of skill to work with neon. We get a lesson on bending the tube, as they call it. All kinds of gases, colored glass, and coating help create the bright colors and pulse effects you see.
I love the glow. I love the cast light. After I've heated the tube, I go up in the air and I bend freeform.
I hope that more people come to Chinatown. There's many galleries here, and they're each representational of different art movements.
This installation focuses on symbolic objects that elicit emotions. Candles, moons, flowers. Their inspiration? Think ka-ching.
Oh man, I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's my hometown. So I've been seeing these pretty things in my eyeballs all of my life, and I think I just was always attracted to it.
And while we're on the topic of neon, ever wonder who created the Neon Celebrate stamp? Well, one of the artists right here did. He not only created the neon installation, he photographed it, and now we use it to mail our letters. And that's not all to come out of this guy's whimsical creations.
I made one of these for Katy Perry. She has one just like this. Yeah.
But back to that selfie exhibit, we caught some teens going all selfie on it.
People like stop to take pictures rather than just like admire things.
Yeah, it's like more about like the person. Like you have to be in it now.
Yeah,
like whatever you're doing.
How you guys doing that?
Exactly. Well, we were trying to get like the lighting on the.
We're just best friends. We just always do stuff like that.
You have a chance to take your own selfie with all the artwork by visiting the exhibit, which runs through August 25th.
More info at easternprojectsgallery.com. Art isn't only in a museum. Those that ride the LA Metro get a daily look at some of LA's finest on their commute. Now Metro is taking it to new levels with regular community art events. Anna Marcos takes us to Metro Art Presents.
Transportation and art. The two don't sound like they would go together, but at LA Metro, they do. The Metro Art Presents event was one example of art taking on many forms, drawing on people's arms, faces, bodies. In this tribal pattern session, provided some of the artsy entertainment.
They create an awesome vibe for us to hang out and have fun.
The event has been a joint partnership with Radio KCRW for the past 5 years, and it attracts hundreds of people, a mix of everyday train and bus passengers and the more artsy, trendy crowd.
Some people are coming specifically because they heard about it and they love the arts and culture in Los Angeles. And some people, because this is a train station, are commuters or they're traveling someplace. And so it's whoever happens to be passing through the train station. We're just surprising them with some arts and culture.
Besides the DJ spinning and body painting, there were photo booths, fun and games of all sorts, artwork, hula hooping, lots of hula hooping, and dancing. Even more of that. Lots and lots and lots of dancing. Call it a Hollywood hipster's artistic Coney Island.
We are just in the community, just, activating it with our DJs, bringing the fun, the games, the music.
And if you missed this art scene, don't worry. There are more of these events this month, including an August event with 20 performance acts and artists on August 26th.
So it won't be one thing happening in one place, but it'll be these little interventions throughout the station.
At this metro station, a train or bus ride could well turn into a spin on a hula hoop or a journey of exploration into tribal tattoos and more. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Mayor Garcetti's Office of Economic Development is working hard to support local entrepreneurs by connecting them to city resources so they can thrive. One such company is Viva Bags, where 2 local designers are crafting fine leather products right here in LA.
Walk through a downtown alley and you open the door into a unique factory showroom that's been around for decades.
This is Viva Bags Los Angeles.
The 2 owners, Stacy Charlin, an LA native, and Irma Castillo, a Mexican immigrant, have succeeded in keeping their high-end leather product business going through good times and bad.
The people who were in business 10 years ago are no longer in business, and they were much bigger than we are.
Castillo bought the business in the 90s after working for the company for many years.
The first time I touched the leather, I fell in love with it. Every meeting I had with them, please, if you one day you want to sell Viva, please think about me.
Castillo finally bought a piece of the American dream and went into business with Charlin. The first 10 years, they say, were great, with accounts at Neiman Marcus, Saks, Nordstrom. Then the economy went south and new trends hit: outsourcing, cheap knockoffs, and competition from celebrity designers.
You can see we have few people working right now because they're laid off.
Viva Bags has gotten creative by branching out. Besides handbags, the 2 partners are making private label products for other designers and leather earrings, bracelets, wine carriers, tote bags. They've reached out to the mayor's Office of Economic Development, asking the city to push for more branding of made in LA products like theirs.
We see that the city is in partnership with larger businesses, but we don't want the city to forget about the smaller people.
One of the Viva Bag owners' goals is to get on this LA City-run website called laoriginal.com and look at this website. It's all companies making products right here in LA. Who knew?
These ladies themselves are a true made in LA original. We get the feeling they'll be around for a long time to come.
To learn more about how the city can help your local business, visit the LA Business Portal for details. Bolly High may call you, a Bollywood dance party in downtown, and we celebrate Barbarella turning 50 at Hollywood Forever. All of that in this week's Things to Do.
Relive Hollywood's golden era as the Marina Del Rey Symphony performs Rodgers and Hammerstein's South Pacific. As part of the staged version of the Academy Award-winning classic, you'll travel back in time to once again enjoy an age of breathtaking majesty and musical masterpieces. The free performances run the evenings of August 23rd and 25th at the Burton Chase Park in the Marina. Visit chasepark.com for more info. Like to twirl the light fantastic? Then you won't want to miss the Music Center's Dance DTLA 2018 at Grand Park. A recurring downtown dance party, each event embraces a different theme. Friday, August 24th, it's Bollywood, so get ready to have a great time. The free event happens at Grand Park, 200 North Grand Avenue in downtown LA. For more information, visit grandparkla.org.
Meet the most beautiful creature of the future. Her name is Barbarella.
Take off on an intergalactic romp through the galaxy as Cinespia presents the 50th anniversary of Barbarella at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Experience the Jane Fonda sci-fi classic as part of the annual Johnny Ramone tribute. A cinematic masterpiece, Barbarella forever changed the way mankind views outer space, revealing an interplanetary playfulness that's still charming no matter which planet you live on. Barbarella screens Sunday, August 26th at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, 6000 Santa Monica Boulevard. For tickets and information, visit cinespia.org. And that's a look at some things to do.
Finally, we'll close out this week's show at LAX, where a team of volunteers held a special send-off for a local teen.
For 18-year-old Carlos Garcia, it's a dream come true. His life is about to be changed thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
It's just a lot of history in Italy, and I've always seen pictures of it, and it looks very nice. So I decided why not and go to Italy.
Carlos is battling cancer. Through his doctor, his parents found out about the Make-A-Wish Foundation and how it helps kids.
We was in the hospital and the doctor told us that there's a foundation that they can make kids, wish true. So we fill out the information. I didn't thought they're gonna call me, but they did like in They contact me when we was in the hospitals.
The LAX pups also came out to share their love and support with Carlos. These adorable therapy dogs are part of LAX's Pets Unstressing Passengers program and help create a calm and stress-free experience at the airport.
Today is a very special day. LAX and the pups are partnering with Make-A-Wish Foundation to grant some kids' wishes. We have a child today that's flying out to Italy. We found out that he loves dogs, and so we thought, what a great partnership to meet and welcome them.
Make-A-Wish makes dreams come true for children with critical illnesses.
And there's a common misconception that Make-A-Wish only serves children who are terminally ill. But that's not the case. Most of our kids do go on to live healthy lives.
A thank you to Make-A-Wish for everything that they've done for the whole trip. It makes what I've gone through way easier, and hopefully the kids who are going through anything big, they could have something to look forward from Make-A-Wish.
Some heartfelt words of gratitude from Carlos, who's about to experience a trip of a lifetime. Arrivederci.
Make-A-Wish says they currently have 500 kids in Los Angeles on their waitlist. To get involved, visit wish.org/SoCal. That's going to do it for this edition. I'm Umayma Rashid, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org. You can also check out our newest social media feature, LA This Minute. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
I keep the city's computers running and up to date.
I launched a website to 4 million Angelinos.
Our team created a program that paged 48,000 city employees.
I help LA residents access all the city has to offer.
I make TV shows that air on LA City View 35.
I set up a data center in Las Vegas so city systems could keep running in the event of an earthquake.
I survey, install, and service communication towers for thousands of police and firefighters.
I'm building a robot that tests police radios to make sure they're reliable.
And I program Amazon Alexa to help people access city services. Alexa, ask LA City, how do I pay for parking ticket?
For LA City, you can pay your ticket in one of 4 convenient ways.
if you're in your offices, may I please have you come down so we can start a council meeting? City Council. Today is Wednesday, August 22nd. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mr. Clerk, we have a quorum. Let's begin our meeting.
Blumenfield, Bona, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and quorum. Madam President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Koretz moves and Mr. Englander seconds.
Madam President, that brings us to commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Buscaino moves and Mr. Harris Dawson seconds.
Madam President, items 1 through 6 are items noticed for public hearing. We do have cards on all 6 items.
Okay, let's hold those items.
Very
What's
good.
Next?
Items 7 through 10 are items for which public hearings have been held. Item 7 should be held on the desk pending a committee report for that matter.
Okay, let's hold item number 7. Members, are there any specials on items 8 through 10? Seeing none. Okay, let's go ahead and vote on items 8 through 10. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Okay,
And Madam President, there's been a request to send item 10 forthwith.
Okay, let's send item 10 forthwith. Without
That brings us
objection,
to item 11. It's an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, that item is now before us.
And we do have cards on it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and hold that as well.
Very good. Items 12 through 14 are items scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold them on the desk?
Just City Attorney?
I believe these items can be dealt with in open session unless a member wishes to go into closed to discuss them.
So, Madam President, for item 12, in the case entitled Richard Coriel et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $650,000 in settlement. For item 13, in the case entitled PP Ocean LLC versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $700,000 in settlement. And for item 14, in the case entitled San Regis LLC versus City of Los Angeles et al., the City Attorney will speak to the recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. In that case, St. Regis LLC will issue new bonds for the project, the proceeds of which will go to repairs and improvements on the project, and approximately $23 million of which will refund the remaining balance on the 2001 bonds. The St. Regis will also authorize a new 55-year regulatory agreement to be placed on the project, which would continue to restrict the same 78 units until approximately 2073. Third, the California Housing Finance Agency will be the issuing authority for the new bonds. Upon these terms, the settlement will be entered into and the litigation by all parties will be dismissed. No payment is required by the city, and the state, not the city, will deal with St. Regis with the regulatory agreement and the issuance of the new bonds.
And it's okay to take up 12 through 14, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes.
Include 14 as well? Okay, those items are now before us, members. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, very well. We're going to go into multiple cards now, our speaker cards. And the first speaker is Armando Herman.
Madam Chair, we have a rope here. Violation of my civil rights.
Just a second, Mr. Herman.
Can we please tear down this barrier? ADA violation there.
Okay, you have a general public comment card, items 1 through 6, and item 11.
Yes, Mommy. So, first consideration this morning, ladies and gentlemen, as I will attempt to be polite and politically correct, is how to advocate. Well, in CD3, which I believe belongs to Bob Blumenfield, we're talking about findings for street lighting. And we should thank Bob Bloomfield for that. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for tearing down our cultural heritage. Then on CD 11, Mr. Bonin, who wears no tie, improvement of maintenance at the Westgate Avenue. No one truly cares, Mr. Bonin. Thank you to that. Then item 3, 4, no one other than O'Farrell, my favorite elected official who represents my beautiful area off of Mount Herman, the other side of the hill by Occidental. More improvement for street lighting to keep the criminals and the regulators from destroying our beautiful community. Then in item 5, we don't need to talk about it. It's another Bonin who wears no tie. So unprofessional. And the last hearing is in CD 4. Do you remember who's in 4? David Rue, who was known to rape a woman, but that's not the issue. I'm dealing with sidewalks for Wilshire Miracle Mile. A nice another improvement under the American Disability Act. Why such just talking here with Mr. Dale? Can I get some peace?
Continue.
Please get back on topic, Mr. Herman.
Motherfucker. Then you go into the item of 11, and let me read it into the fucking record since I'm interrupted. Fuck using the council chambers for the fucking 4th floor of media. The Rotunda is the best place to fucking Spring Street forecourt, the 10th floor fucking rooms, could fucking control the fucking conference room for all the motherfucking Board of Public Works rooms for September fucking 22nd, 2018. This is what you like to do. Make fucking people pissed off in the way you rudely talk while others try to talk during your Ralph M. Brown Act. Stupid motherfuckers.
Get back on topic,
I am the
Mr.
controller
Herman.
conference room and the Board of Public Rooms on September 22nd. Congress or so-called neighborhoods, and then closed session items to improve work.
You're on general public comment now. 1 minute.
I allege that the meeting's transcript shows that council members have devised an official plan to intimidate me against myself and other members of the public who stand before this podium. And that many of our subsequent disputes with the city officials and employees are part of the city's retaliation plan. The same fucking plan you did to Wayne Spindler and fucking Michael Hunt. Stop this fucking retaliation and intimidation. Just because I suffer a disability doesn't give you a fucking right to bring me down. I'm an American citizen, and I deserve the floor. I have the floor. Give me the time and respect, motherfucker.
Mr. Herman, would you please stop shouting into the mic?
Thank you very much, Mr. Herman. You're done. Mr. Herman, you're done. Okay, now, Mr. Herman, please sit down. Mr. Herman, this is your first and final warning. Sit down. Can you please escort Mr. Herman out our council chambers, please? He's continuing to disrupt the meeting. Now he's becoming confrontational with one of our council members. Please exit the council chambers, Mr. Herman. Have a good day. Mr. City Attorney, can you know for the record that he continues to shout and disrupt our council meeting?
He is. He's preventing us from continuing our business as he shouts, leaving the chambers. And he's still shouting as he leaves, walking backwards to prevent our business being conducted. And he's still shouting all the way out.
I just want to apologize. If you've never attended one of our council meetings, this is exactly what happens during public comment. Unfortunately, this is the way he behaves, but he's now been removed from our meeting so we can continue. I want to go ahead, members. Items number 1 through 5, public comment has been satisfied. Let's put up those items for a vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
13 ayes.
So those items now have passed. Next speaker is Forrest. Anyone here by that last name, Forrest? I think that could have been Mr. Herman. Okay, next speaker is Patricia McAllister. And Ms. McAllister, I'm going to remind you, you have your 1 minute of general public comment, and you've only filled out cards for item number 6. Okay?
Okay, item number 6, it says that you want to continue maintenance on the sidewalks at Wilshire and Miracle Mile. Well, I go through that area all the time. I don't see anything wrong with the sidewalks, but the streets are in horrible conditions. I don't drive down Wilshire until you get to like 6200 or something because the roads are horrible. They're bumpy. They have holes in it. So I think we should not deal with the streets so much, but I mean the sidewalks, but we need help with the streets. So that's it for that.
Public comment now? 1 minute?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, today I'm going to give you a list of the city attorneys that were not city attorneys when they started working for the city. See, what I did, I requested a list of all the city attorneys for this city, and the list was like 540 attorneys. I went through the Bar Association and checked every attorney, and I found out that you are hiring people who are not attorneys to be attorneys. How do I know? The Bar Association gave me the date that they were admitted into the bar, and here you have them working for us. Like one guy worked since 1999. He just got in the bar 2012. One, he worked in 1999. He just got in the bar 2016. Here's one right here. He's been working with the city attorney's office since 1982. He just got admitted to the bar in 2004. So I've got this information. I've gathered about 15 million. And a lot of these are ghost employees. They don't work for the city. And I have this list I'd like to submit, and those employees will be reported, and they need to be either incarcerated, fined, or...
Thank you, Ms. McAllister. Go ahead and give that to our sergeants. Can we please take the handouts from Ms. McAllister? Members, let's prepare to vote on items number 6 and 11. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes. No, 6 and 11. And put up number 6.
Yeah.
Open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, there's been a request to send item 6 forthwith. Let's go ahead and move on to general public comment. Dan, followed by Omar.
Council members, good morning. That Dateline NBC on homelessness and drug addiction on Sunday was pretty fantastic, and I'm glad that you participated in that. But Mr. Bonin, and I know he speaks from experience, he gave the absolute wrong message to send to kids of LA. You're supposed to tell them that there's a guaranteed way to never become a drug addict. There's an absolute guaranteed way to never become an alcoholic. You don't stick the needle in your arm. You don't put the spoon near your nose. You don't drink to excess. What Mr. Bonin told the kids of Los Angeles is, it's easy to fall into addiction. That's the wrong message. The message Mr. Bonin should have told the kids of Los Angeles is, it's easy to not become an addict. If Mr. Bonin wanted to talk from personal experience, he should have talked about his inspiration of surviving addiction. Don't tell people it's easy to not become an addict. It is easy to not become an addict. You don't make it easy. Oh, my God.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. Omar? Hi, good morning. You have 1 minute for general public comment.
Hello. Hi, my name is Omar Baldwin. I'm founder and CEO of Peace Please nonprofit, and I'm also thinking about getting involved in to run for office, maybe Congress or something, just to stir everything up in Washington, D.C., because today we're just having a crisis, all around crisis, homelessness, economy crisis all around the world. It's not just in America. Everybody are having political crisis, all different countries. And what we need to do is use United Nations to come together and speak about these crises so we can make things happen. I'm thinking about going to United Nations and speak. I called the United Nations, I called Israel because I really believe in Jesus and I believe in God. And I want us to grow together as a whole globe. And we need a one world, just a one world government. I don't want to say like we're in the Illuminati, but hey, it is what it is. So God bless everybody. And
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And that concludes our general public comment cards. Mr. City Clerk, can you note that multiple and general public comment cards have now been closed?
Very good.
Let's move on to our presentations. Mr. Koretz, are you ready?
Colleagues, today we are here to honor and celebrate the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, Local 33, and its rich history. For 122 years in Los Angeles, they have been and continue to be a vital part of the entertainment industry. literally providing the backdrops and stages and atmospheres of live theater and television, concerts, and sporting events. Among those joining us here today are a few people who I'd like to mention. First, thank you to my good friend Jerry Levy, who has really coordinated these events today, from the beautiful display on the bridge to the idea for today's presentation. And also, we're joined by the hardworking men and women who are really the ones making today possible. In Los Angeles, there's so much entertainment from which to choose. Whether you're watching your favorite awards show, or picnicking with your family at the Hollywood Bowl, to enjoying an evening listening to the LA Philharmonic, or darning your favorite band t-shirt at the Greek. It isn't just the headliner that makes the show, it's the sets and the lights, coupled with projection screens and maybe even pyrotechnics, that transform the experience. And it's not only true for music. When you go to the Pantages and sit down in your seat to see Wicked or Fiddler on the Roof, suddenly you find yourself transported to another time. And the characters on stage might suddenly be flying overhead, and the set spins around before your eyes, moving you along to yet another magical world. When it's really done well, all of the sweat equity that goes into such an experience is almost invisible. It might not occur to most of us who are focused on the performers that the complete transformation would not be possible without the sound, lighting, video, sets, props, and carpentry. The Local 33 skilled workers are the unsung heroes who make the dream worlds come to life. All of these pieces are coordinated by an extraordinarily hardworking and talented set of experts who bring together a broad set of skills, including engineering, software, electrical work, welding, and design. Local 33 has been a pioneering force in labor contracts as well for the entertainment industry, setting the standards for wages and working conditions and generating more than $77 million in salary per year for its hardworking and creative members. And here's a little bit more about who they are and what they really do.
At the 2016 SAG Awards are teams of professionals. Some have decades of experience. Others are just starting their careers. What they all have in common is membership in IATSE Local 33.
For over a century, IATSE has been a vital part of the entertainment industry. We were there at the birth of television, helping to create Emmy Award-winning soap operas, game shows, and world-class award shows. The members of IATSE Local 33 make the magic happen.
In each one of these departments, whether it be sound, lighting, video, props, scenic, carpentry, each work together like a well-oiled machine.
I have these plans. It's going to tell me all my cuts of carpeting from the factory and where about they're going to go on the entire red carpet.
From the palm trees past is audience. All these palm trees right here is our proscenium, so we've actually built out over the audience to create more staging.
You know, this room is a completely empty room when we come into it. First, we have to bring in rigging, then lighting goes onto the rigging, then the stage slides in underneath that, and then eventually the room is dressed with carpets and stuff like that. And it happens in only 1 week because of the skills that everybody has.
Local 33 is behind the scenes at LA's top venues, from concerts to conventions, from live theater to film and television, to Hollywood's star-studded award shows. Here are just some of the talents and skills of IATSE Local 33 that make the magic happen.
Visit us online at www.ia33.org.
Now I'd like to ask Mike Schull, our GM for the Department of Rec and Parks, to say a few words.
Thank you, Councilmember. Again, Mike Schull with Recreation and Parks. I was just asked to say a few words because of a relationship that we have with Local 33 at the Greek Theater. And probably one of the biggest secrets that we probably have is that we've gotten lots of accolades for how well the Greek Theater runs. And probably the biggest secret of that is because of our partnership with Local 33.
early on when we started looking at different operational models for the Greek, one of the first things that we did was meet with Local 33, and I quickly realized that that is the backbone of the Greek, and that's what makes the Greek special, and we're really proud to honor them today and to be here, and we're thankful to have them as a partner. Thank you.
And I have to admit, as you probably all know, I thought having the city run the Greek was one of the worst ideas ever. But it turned out that with the help of IATSE 33, it works very well. So I want to commend them for that as well. The next speaker is Robert Pagnotta, the business agent for theater at IATSE 33.
Good morning, Council. Thank you for having us here today. I just want to thank the Council, especially Mr. Koretz, for sponsoring this. This is a great day in Los Angeles history. We enjoy working with LA. We've been a labor force here, as he said, for 122 years, and not that I'll be around, but hopefully another 122. I just want to thank you, and the relationship has grown over the years. We enjoy LA. We give back to the city, and just want to thank you all very much.
And just for the record, I am committed to be here for the next 122-year celebration. Next speaker is Ron Valentine, the business agent for television.
I'd like to say thank you very much for having us here. I am very honored and proud to stand in front of the Los Angeles City Council to receive this proclamation. And I would like to thank Councilman Paul Koretz and his staff for putting this together. The recognition is huge for us. 122 years ago, we started in vaudeville, state fairs, county fairs, live theaters, and most importantly, to the city of Los Angeles, film. Local 33 has been of vital importance to make Los Angeles the place to be for the best entertainment in the world. We've served shows such as the Academy Awards, Grammys, Dancing with the Stars, American Idol, the BET Awards, Latin Grammys, award-winning soap operas, news comedies. We work with local broadcast stations, ABC, NBC, and CBS. We take pride in supplying the most talented labor in the live entertainment industry to make the magic happen. We are proud to be partners with Mike Schwul of LA Rex and Parks and Becky Cowell of the Greek Theater with a mentoring program to show our young, soon-to-be adults that there is a living in the entertainment business and it's not out of reach. We take pride in our connections with local colleges to help develop a workforce program to expedite students into the behind-the-scenes entertainment industry through our Hollywood CPR program. Local 33 has a diverse workforce with one goal in mind, and that is to deliver the best possible product, driving productions back to Los Angeles for flawless entertainment. This is a very exciting day for Local 33 to be recognized by the city we love so much. Thank you, LA. We hope you will take the time to visit our retrospective exhibit on the Bridge Gallery, celebrating Local 33's 122 years serving the city of Los Angeles. I would like to also thank Craig Weissman for his long hours and work on editing that piece of film to show you on what we're all about. Thank you again.
And now we'd like to ask Walter Lake, the head of staging operations at CBS, to say a few words.
I'd like to thank the members of City Council for recognizing the talented men and women of IATSE Local 33 on this day. Every day is a Local 33 day for me. I have the pleasure of working every day with these crafts and talents in Local 33. And as we speak, they are staging one of the longest running game shows on television, The Price is Right. And I invite anybody to come down and watch them choreograph this for the show. I depend on our relationship and with Local 33, and I'm honored to have a relationship with Local 33. So thank you, IATSE Local 33, for every day making the show must go on.
And lastly but not least, I'd like to bring up Dennis Haskins, who you might recognize as Mr. Belding on the iconic TV show Saved by the Bell.
Thank you, sir. I am not a member of Local 33.
but I am blessed to be here to talk for many of the actors, for as many actors as there are that have been blessed to work with all of these men and women of this great union. I know that there are a lot of people that it takes to come together, but I don't think that Saved by the Bell would have been the success that it was without the heart and soul of these members, because they did everything they could for us. They made sure that we were taken care of, that the sets were in great shape, and that everything was as it should be. And I have to say that we were a team. There, many of them are here today that I got to work with 30 years ago, and we were also a family. So I just want to say thank you to the members of Local 33, because they're the best they are, and I'm truly honored to know them and to be here and watch you honor all of the men and women of Local 33. Thank you very much.
And now, without further ado, the City of Los Angeles is proud to honor an organization that has served thousands of our residents, as well as people from all over the country and the world, and continues to be innovative and grow in areas of new technologies, and remains actively committed to develop and participate in training programs that will meet the rapidly evolving needs of new technologies affecting the future.
Okay, Mr. Carres, we have one member on the queue.
Yes.
Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Councilman Koretz. And before you present that proclamation on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I just wanted to rise to congratulate the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees, Local 33, on your 122nd anniversary. Robert, Ron, Jerry, congratulations. And, you know, with three of the major studios or attractions in my district, from the Hollywood Bowl, the Greek, and CBS, I gladly welcome your partnership and your collaboration, and thank you so much for working so closely with us. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Rue. Mr. Koretz. So sorry. Mr. Englander, did you press your button, sir?
Yeah, it's because we don't have somebody from Local 33 programming the... Anyway, I wanted to thank you, Jerry, Robert, Ron, Walter, Dennis, Mike Scholl, all of you. But more importantly, none of you, the people behind you that aren't here, the men and women that are out there working, lifting the heavy cables, building in the carpentry, laying the foundations, providing the actual bedrock for what is not just Hollywood, but sports and entertainment and behind the scenes. I've had the honor and the privilege of producing an event every year for 21 years now. And it's the LA Political Roast. It's become the signature event here in Los Angeles for politics and politicians to take a night off and a night away to joke and laugh and make fun of each other. And it reminds me of a time where it wasn't just the set designing that we bring in and change it every single day, and working with lighting but also costume design. And Mr. Koretz, I've got a photo I want to put. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Took 6 months for your wife to talk to me again. I'm not going to revisit that one. Yeah. With that, I want to thank you all for what you do each and every day, the men and women that are working so hard, because it goes off and the show must go on without a hitch. And we don't all get to see and enjoy what's going on behind the scenes and the chaos and that drama. And you all make it seem so seamless, and you've done so for so many years. I was curious too, because I have no idea, so I'm just asking. They say never ask a question you don't know the answer to on a microphone, but I'll do it anyway. On Club 33 at Disney, is that named after you guys? Here you go. No. You wish. You have full lifetime membership, right? Thank you for everything you do, and I know you do most of your work in Mr. O'Farrell's district, or certainly that's where the recognition takes place, but you work throughout all of our communities, and we all appreciate it, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Englander. Mr. Carres, there are no more members on the queue. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. And so on behalf of the Mayor and City Council here in Los Angeles, I'd like to declare International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, IATSE Local 33 Day in the City of Los Angeles. And we recognize their incredibly important work in one of the most important and glamorous industries in the City of Los Angeles.
Okay, members, the committee report for item number 7 has now been circulated. Let's prepare to vote on that item. Let's open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the votes.
14 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Kokorian, are you ready for your presentation? I know it's Mr. Rue and Mr. O'Farrell as well.
I'm going to go show them.
Mr. Rue, Mr. Kokorian, Mr. O'Farrell.
I can send you that.
Good morning, Council President and City Council colleagues. With the start of the new school year at LAUSD and 640,000 students in Los Angeles returning to classes, I am honored to be joined today by Jill Cordes, Andrea Richards, and Anthony Oliai of Sandy Hook Promise. Sandy Hook Promise is a national organization that works to make our schools safer and our communities more empowered to address gun violence. Councilmember Mitchell Farrell, Paul Kokorian, and myself would like to first show you a little preview of their incredible work. If you could take a look at the screens.
It all started with hello. This is the story of how one person can make a big difference.
I remember the day really specifically. My son was barely a year old and my daughter was 2.5 years old. And I remember being at my daughter's gymnastics class. And I was watching her do gymnastics as the news reports came in. And I just remember feeling heart-wrenchingly sad. What I started to do was donate to Sandy Hook Promise. And it wasn't even a lot. It was, $50 here, $100 there. Because every time another shooting happened, I felt so helpless that I didn't know what to do. So I gave a little bit of money. And then one day, I got an email from Nicole Hockley. She said, I wanted to thank you for being such a loyal donor. I would not be considered a giant donor, but she and Tim were gonna take the time to meet with me. And they came to my house and sat at my table, and it was the first time speaking to them about what Sandy Hook Promise is about and the programs that Sandy Hook Promise can do and provide, that I actually had a glimmer of hope.
Jill made it her mission to get these programs into every school in Los Angeles.
I'm just one person, but there's a school board in Los Angeles. I need to find someone on the school board who can get these programs in.
With great determination, Jill made contact with LA School Board President Steve Zimmer.
Jill reached out to me and said, how is it possible that LAUSD is not involved in this? And told me a little bit about Sandy Hook Promise that I had, of course, heard of. Immediately, I jumped on the opportunity.
Steve Zimmer brought together a team to implement the programs in Los Angeles schools.
I became aware of Sandy Hook Promise through our board president, Steve Zimmer. I just happened to be in Washington, D.C. when he called me, so it was really easy for me to meet with Paula of Sandy Hook Promise. And from that visit with her, I became very excited about the possibility of a partnership.
She said, there's this program and I think it'd be right for your school. And so for me, I know there's no such thing as a magic program to do anything. But what struck me is it's something that was familiar. My daughter had talked to me about it a year before, and for the school, it didn't come at a cost.
We're responsible for an area of 710 square miles, encompassing 1,100 campuses across that area. And we are responsible for, on a daily basis, close to 1 million students.
made that tiny little connection that was able to get this program now into the second largest school district in the country.
One person can make a big difference. And so can you.
Sandy Hook Promise works around the country, developing programs to combat social isolation, prevent suicide, and stop acts of violence before they occur, by knowing what to look for and how to help. This organization, born out of one of the worst tragedies our nation has ever seen, takes a holistic and loving approach to societal's problems of gun violence. In only 4 years, they are active in 49 states. They have trained thousands of schools and teachers and have helped more than 3.5 million students. Locally, we have over 50 schools in Los Angeles who have partnered with Jill Cordes and Sandy Hook Promise, including John Marshall High School, Ivanhoe Elementary, and Thomas Starr King Middle School, just in my district alone. But we need more. Because Sandy Hook Promise offers more than just programs and practices that make schools safer, they also offer hope, they offer empowerment, and they offer proactive steps to end gun violence in schools. Martin Luther King once said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Likewise, we know that gun violence in our schools and communities is not solved by more guns. Only through support, compassion, and outreach can we do that. Now I'd like to invite Councilmember Krikorian to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rue. I think all of us distinctly remember where we were and how we first heard about one of the most horrific tragedies you can imagine, a mass murder of children in their school. And we remember the knife to the heart that felt like for each of us, especially those of us who are parents. And it was a time in our country, because of that tragedy, when all of us experienced this feeling of desperation and helplessness. And often when we feel desperate and helpless, we just want to throw up our hands and hide someplace. But a rare few people at times of desperation and hopelessness in our country stand up and say, it's not okay, and I'm going to do something to change it. And the parents and the teachers and the administrators of Sandy Hook Promise represent that spirit, the best of what this country is. Sometimes, in the times of greatest desperation, it's when we produce the greatest steps forward. And that, I think, is what Sandy Hook Promise represents to me. And I should note, too, this council also stood up. A month after Sandy Hook occurred, I introduced this council's large capacity magazine ban, which this council stood up and led the state of California in enacting. We've enacted safe storage requirements in this city. We've stepped forward and now initiated electronic tracking of ammunition sales. We've launched citywide awareness campaigns. Mr. Englander and I just recently introduced a motion to address banning 3D printed gun electronic files to prevent the next generation of horrific kinds of contributors to gun violence. So this council has acted. The parents and teachers of Sandy Hook Promise have acted, but more need to join us. Our Congress needs to act. State legislatures in all 50 states need to act. And more important than that, people in neighborhoods and communities throughout America need to stand up and change this culture. This is a uniquely American problem. This does not happen anywhere else in the world. And as shocked as we were at Sandy Hook, since that day, there have been 180 school shootings that have occurred. We average about, once every few weeks, a new school shooting. This culture has to change, and it can if people like the folks behind me continue to stand up and say, we've had enough. There was a time in this country when drunk driving was a punchline to jokes. Not anymore, because moms got mad, because people got mad and said it's not okay in this society to put our kids at risk. We have to do the same thing with gun violence, and the work that Sandy Hook Promise is doing is the first step in that direction, and I want to thank each and every one of you for making our community safer. Oh, and allow me now to have the honor of introducing our colleague and a great champion on this issue, one who speaks up every single time we're affected by this and who has been really instrumental in the policy choices that this council has made to make City of Los Angeles safer. Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you, Mr. Krikorian, and thank you, Mr. Rue, and thank you, Sandy Hook Promise. You know, the first day of school this year, I spent the morning at Lake Street Early Education Center, and I greeted every single parent who brought in their child for the first day of preschool and kindergarten and first grade, and just looking into the hopeful eyes of those young children and the concerned eyes of the parents. I stood there with Principal Ortega and the staff, and we wanted to give them a cone of comfort, a cone of security that their children would be safe and secure on that first day of school, joined by the LAUSD School Police. And it really brings home, I think, for me, someone who doesn't have any children, that profound responsibility that we all have in protecting society and doing all that we can to curb the wide use and wide distribution of guns and firearms in this country. My sense of helplessness was framed when I was in high school and there was a mass shooting and a classmate of mine was struck and killed, and he was in the 11th grade going into his senior year in the summertime. 5 people at a fast food restaurant were killed, and I still suffer from the trauma of that feeling and that feeling of helplessness. And the fact that we have guns that proliferate across the country and new ways of building guns leave us all a little less safe. But it's groups, it's organizations like Sandy Hook Promise and Moms Demand Action and all of the others that are out there every day changing the course of this country as it relates to the proliferation of guns and gun violence. We have the new generation that's stepping up, and we have those that would promote guns anywhere for everyone running scared, and that's a really great thing. So before I introduce my friend and constituent that I couldn't be more proud of, you saw her in the video, Jill Cordes, I would just want to say talk about a few other ways we can get involved. There's an organization called the NRA. They have a television program, NRA TV. They, on a 24-hour cycle, promote gun violence, white supremacy, and guns everywhere, every time. They promote violent content, and they must be stopped because that's a real problem. Those images and those messages permeate into those who are vulnerable, and they decide to pick up arms and take action into their own hands. And that's not a good thing. And here are the organizations that stream that channel: Apple, Google, SiriusXM Radio, iHeartRadio, and Amazon, who owns Whole Foods Market. They refuse to stop streaming NRA TV, and everyone who hears this can contact those organizations and demand they stop promoting gun violence in this country. And I hope everyone will. With that, there's hope, and it's at the local level. And as Mr. Krikorian said, moms are angry, parents are angry, and we want safety in our schools, the most sacred place that we leave our children every day so they can learn and become contributing members of society. There is no greater responsibility than we have than that. And so you saw her in the video. She's a remarkable individual just in her own right, but she's also very active in the community of Silver Lake on all sorts of programs that lend themselves to improving the quality of life, whether it's the Silver Lake Reservoir and the future master planning so that we can get more park space and open space there, to an issue like this in all of our schools. And I do hope that we get the Sandy Hook Promise program in all of the schools in the LAUSD system. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my friend Jill Cordes.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to be here. I really, my friends and council members, Rue and O'Farrell, who split the Silver Lake District, and council member Krikorian, and a special thanks to Sarah Dussault, David Rue's chief of staff. She came to a parent ed night that my friend and colleague Andrea Richards, who's going to speak in just a minute, did in Silver Lake to show the parents the kind of programs that we do with Sandy Hook Promise in the schools. And as a result of that, Sarah invited us to come today to talk about the program and to tell all of you about it. Standing behind me is a very small slice of our Promise presenters, our Promise leaders, and our Save Club members that are across the city of Los Angeles, ready and willing and able to go into every one of your schools in your districts and do these critical life-saving programs. The youngest members you'll see are the members of the Save Club. You guys want to raise your hands? That stands for Students Against Violence Everywhere. And that is very similar, as Councilmember Krikorian alluded to, with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Students Against Drunk Driving. Sandy Hook Promise is creating a cultural shift in the way we think and feel about safety in our country and in our schools and about the gun culture in this country. By the year 2026, we will have educated 25 million students in these programs. LA is a giant district. We are approved in Los Angeles, but it is an autonomous school district, which means that each principal has their discretion to have us come in or not. And many times, the principals just get very busy. Our programs are 30 to 45 minutes twice a year. That's it. And they are free. We come in, we do a great presentation on a stage, in a giant auditorium, or in a homeroom that's more intimate, whatever the school wants. And then the school has champions and guidance counselors in place to take those programs and run with them as they see fit. Every school is different, and they can tailor it however they want. They have prevented several, or many potentially, I know of several off the top of my head, school mass shootings across this country as a result of these programs, thousands of suicides. And the beauty of these programs is that it does not just encompass gun violence, it encompasses any part of violence, because what we talk about are warning signs and signals and threats to the students, that they can be on the lookout for people who are feeling in a really dark place. And sometimes you feel that way because you're battling an eating disorder or you're being abused. And the bottom line is having students help other students get the help they need. So it's really a student-empowered and student-led movement. We are in 60 schools in LA so far, 600 middle and high schools to go, and plenty of private schools. And there's 165 Promise leaders and 25 trained Promise presenters with boots on the ground ready to come to your schools. At the end of today, I'm going to get in touch with your legislative policy aides, and I'm going to put them in touch with our Los Angeles Sandy Hook coordinator, who is currently being hired to help shepherd these programs into your schools. So I hope you will see that email in the next couple weeks and pay attention to it. And really, my goal is for us to be in every single school in Los Angeles before this school year ends. Without further ado, I want to introduce my colleague and friend, Andrea Richards, who is going to tell you in a couple brief minutes about the Start with Hello program. That is one of the 2 programs that we do in the schools.
Hi, thank you so much for having us here today. Thank you, Jill. Thank you to everyone behind me. I'm so proud to be part of Sandy Hook Promise. And I'm a mom. I have 2 kids in LAUSD schools. And in this day and age where necessary security precautions include metal detectors and buzzers at the entrances of schools, the thing that I absolutely love about the program I want to tell you about, which is called Start with Hello, is that it's so basic. It's about creating a stronger community through social inclusion. So this is a program that we do for younger students. We do it for 5th grade all the way through 12th. And it's really about seeing the signs of social isolation, because the data that Sandy Hook Promise has put together shows that people who feel the deep pain of social isolation are the people who hurt themselves or hurt others. So if we can immediately, as young as possible, get to children and teach them to take care of each other, to be kind to each other, to not isolate other children, and to help children who are being isolated, we can make a huge difference. And Start with Hello is a program that goes in. It's 20 to 30 minutes. And it has 3 parts to it. And I always say to the kids, if you don't remember anything else that I brought today, remember these 3 things. And the first one is see someone alone, reach out and help, and start with hello. So the first bit of it is about learning how to identify what social isolation looks like. So I always, everybody needs to be alone. We all need alone time. We don't want to make being alone weird, right? So instead, what we're talking about is people who are forced to be alone, who don't feel like they have anyone to turn to. And kids always know who that is already. So one of the big messages that we say to them is trust your gut. You know what's happening on the playground. You know what's happening in the lunchroom. And when you see this happening, when you see someone alone, what can you do? And that's the reach out and help component of this. And we have a bunch of activities and role plays and icebreakers that we teach kids in the assembly to do. Some of them are nonverbal, like you see someone alone, you just go over and you stand next to them, right? It's like being an ally. You just physically, you show them that somebody notices them. You give them a high five in the hallway. You give them a little head nod, something that simple. Then after that, we go into the start with hello. How do you start a conversation? I mean, I think it's awkward at any age to say hello to somebody you don't know, and we're asking, kids in middle school to do this, in the prime of your discomfort, right? So we have a lot of resources around that we give them. One is a would you rather game. So I say to the kids in a big assembly, would you rather, we all have superpowers. Would you rather yours be invisibility, or would you rather be able to fly? Turn to your neighbor and talk about which one you would like. And the kids start practicing these skills in real time, right? They're having actual conversations in the assembly. And it gets wild and it gets crazy, but it also is really fun. And then they come back, and they've already formed a tighter community just through the act of participating in this presentation. So that said, we then go back to the schools. We have a coordinator in every school, either the guidance counselor from the school, maybe a vice principal, maybe the principal of the school, who then works with that particular school, because every school has different needs. Every school has a diverse community that they're serving. So they get together and figure out how can we empower the kids to continue this. And you're looking at some of this. This is one of our SAVE groups. So the kids do this. This is about them taking care of their communities, and the adults are just here to facilitate it. So a couple of the resources we do are like a No One Sits Alone day, where kids agree to sit at different lunch tables, or a mix-it-up day. So there's a whole host of ways that we can do this, and it's just starting with hello. It's just that basic. So I'm really happy to present that to you, and I'm going to bring up another one of our fellow Promise presenters, Anthony, who's going to talk about Say Something.
Yeah. Hi, guys. My name is Anthony, and I have a white eyebrow. I say that so that everybody will pay attention to me, but also I say it at the beginning of every presentation that I give. And some of the kids are here, so they're hearing my recycled material now. But I say it because it only happened about 3 years ago. It just came out of nowhere. It's vitiligo. It's when you lose the color in your hair and skin, wherever you have it. I just have it right here. And what I tell them is I can't imagine what it would have been like if I had that happen to me if I was their age. If I was in elementary school, middle school, or in high school. Would all of my friends be accepting of it and supportive? Would my enemies, the bullies, my frenemies? Probably not. And would I possibly become isolated, feel insecure, and fall into maybe a depression? Who knows, right? But the point is that we have this program, Say Something, that kind of keeps the eyes and ears open. There's 3 steps to say something, okay? The first one is look for warning signs, signals, and threats. They probably could tell you what they are. These kids are the eyes and ears. They see everything that's going on in school. They know everything about their best friend, and they know everything about the quiet kid in the back that doesn't say anything, okay? And so we empower them. We give them the opportunity to have that ability to say something, to be mature, to become young adults. Step 2 is to act immediately and take it seriously. And I emphasize that, take it seriously, because a lot of the kids, they say, I'm too shy. They have a lot of excuses why they wouldn't want to say something. I'm too shy, or what if I'm wrong, or I don't want to snitch. And we have a specific slide that we address that, where we say that snitching or telling on somebody is trying to get them in trouble. But saying something is actually trying to help someone. And I always reiterate that if I was worried about somebody hurting themselves or hurting others, that I would rather say something and be wrong and feel a little silly for a couple of days than to not say something and it actually happens and have to live with that for the rest of my life. And that really hits home with them. And I can see the kids affected by it, okay? Now, step 3 is to say something. And we tell them that you guys have a wide variety of trusted adults that you can reach out to. You have your parents, teachers, guidance counselors, coaches, religious leaders, and you have me. I always end every presentation by saying, if you want to come up and talk to me, or just come and look at the white eyebrow, I'll be here. And I do that for one reason specifically, because nobody wants to be the kid that's going at the end that's going to go tell on somebody or tell on theirself, right, that they're going to do something. So it makes it fun and easy for them, okay? I've had a line of 4 kids talking to me with a spectrum of severity, from a girl that was just bothered that she was sad because she broke up with her boyfriend, and then off to the therapist, go talk to them, and then a person that wanted to commit suicide. I have a story of a girl that came up to me earlier in the year, and she came up after the presentation as the kids were exiting, and she says, you know, a lot of what you're saying, it really spoke to me, and I just wanted to let you know that last night I was thinking about killing myself. She was 14 years old. She'd been to school for 3 months. Didn't have anybody she could turn to. She felt alone. She said I was the first person that she had told that. She said, I'm not going to tell my mom because that's my mom. I'm not going to tell my friends because they're going to make fun of me. They're going to say, oh, yeah, I want to kill myself too. We got her to the counselor, and I ran into one of the representatives a couple of months later, and I was happy to hear that she's doing better. So it's a really great thing that we're doing here, empowering these kids. And I appreciate your time, and I hope that you guys will hear us out. Thank you very much.
So that's the very basics on the program. I'm going to end with an anecdote. I went to Thomas Starr King and did the presentation for 2,000 students. We did it all day long, 5 presentations, 400 kids apiece. And the principal and the staff ahead of time were very concerned that our office is going to be flooded because everyone's going to snitch and start looking out for one another, almost like a witch hunt. And I said, trust the program and trust these kids. It's going to work. They know what we're talking about. And I was happy to hear 2 weeks later from the vice principal there that the kids that did come up to them with some concerns about other students were the same students the staff had already been alerted to and that was getting help they need. So getting them the help they need. So the kids they know what we're talking about. They're in the trenches. They understand it. We're your boots on the ground. The NRA has 30 to 40 years on us, but we're going to catch up, and we're going to have a cultural shift that's going to happen within the next 10 years. And we need all of your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Anthony. And most importantly, thank you to the student participants. Thank you so much. And with all of that, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles,
Mr. Rue, I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry about that.
Mr. Koretz has been holding on the queue for quite some time, so I want to give him an opportunity to say a few words. Mr. Koretz?
Well, thank you, Madam President. I am so excited to hear the details of this program. I'd only heard about it in passing. And as Mr. Krikorian certainly knows, I've been involved in the anti-gun violence movement for over 40 years, since the mid-'70s. And also, I've done a lot of legislation, not just on gun violence, but the last thing I've done in this arena was to make it more difficult to engage in gun-related suicides by putting some anti-suicide messaging at gun ranges and gun stores. But I have to say, everything that's ever been suggested, everything that's ever been tried, potentially will be less effective than this. This is the best idea I've ever heard in terms of actually getting at the people that are thinking of committing violence and being able to address it, and in a very non-political way. We don't have to fight the NRA. This is a very benign step in our schools, and something they can't stop, and they probably wouldn't even want to be associated with trying to stop it. It's just such a good common sense idea. And please contact my office and get involved with my education staffer, and we will try to make sure that this is present in every school, certainly in my district. And I thank you for all your good work on this. What an incredible idea, and I have no doubt this will save hundreds of lives over the years. So thank you for everything you do.
That's all the speakers on the queue. Mr. Rue.
Thank you. So on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I'd like to present a certificate to Sandy Hook Promise for all of your work, past, present, and much-needed future. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone in.
Everyone get in. Oh, we'll go to the back.
Mr. Weiser, we're finally getting to you, sir. Are you ready for your presentation?
Oh.
Yes. Go ahead, sir. Mr. Weiser, thank you for your patience, sir, and thank you for your guests for being patient with us.
Thank you, Madam President. It's a great civic lesson for all of us. And colleagues, please join me in welcoming the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce in celebrating 40 years of service to the Latino business owners across the state of California. Let's give them a big round of applause. Welcome. And the City of Los Angeles is excited and honored to be the host city for this year's 39th annual state convention, which begins today at the LA Downtown Hotel. And with me here today is a who's who of Latino business leaders and advocates, including our Commissioner Ana Cubas with the Los Angeles Convention and Tourism Development Board, and Frank Montes, Chairman of the Board for the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we will hear from both of them in just a second. This is exciting to have the convention here in Los Angeles. It will span 3 days and offer participants the kind of high-quality networking, marketing, and business support. This chamber represents one of the most important demographics in our state, and it is doing the work that truly makes a difference. A 2016 UC Riverside study found that businesses owned by Latinos are being created at a significantly faster pace than all businesses in the United States and California. And these numbers likely have gone up, but the study found that Hispanic-owned businesses comprise 23% of the total businesses in California and 12% across the United States. And even at the height of the worst recession since the Great Depression, Latino businesses in California grew at an impressive rate of 44% between 2007 and 2012, which is a true reflection of their resilience, especially when the overall state business growth was just 5% during that same period. And I think a big part of that is because a majority of these businesses are small businesses, often family-run businesses, where these people are putting their life savings and blood, sweat, and tears into becoming successful entrepreneurs, and they are searching and pursuing their own version of the American dream. But even with the hard work, they need the kind of assistance and advocacy that the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce have been providing for 40 years. As small business owners, you need assistance at every level. So there's plenty of work to do, and organizations like the CHCC are at the forefront of finding solutions. And today, the City of Los Angeles thanks the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce and all their sponsors for their efforts to support our Latino businesses up and down the great state of California, and especially here in the great city of Angels. And now please welcome Ana Cubas, City of Los Angeles Commissioner with the Convention and Tourism Development Board. Welcome, Ana.
Thank you, Councilmember Huizar and council members, for having us here today. I have the honor of being both a board member on the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce and a commissioner for the city of LA. As you know, the Chamber celebrates 40 years, and what better place to have its convention than Los Angeles? We are joined here by Veronica Corona, who is the chairwoman of the convention, and board members and sponsors and supporters. I'm proud to say that 50% of our board members are women. Our commission, through the Tourism Board, is proud to support this convention, and as a sponsor, has partnered with the Chamber to have a table at the convention by donating convention bags and by promoting the Show Your Badge program, which provides discounts at various restaurants for conventioneers. With the mayor's goal of getting to 50 million visitors to Los Angeles, I'm also proud of our LA tourism slogan, which is "Everyone is Welcome," which was developed to directly counter the federal government's racist exclusionary policies, such as the Muslim ban. We in Los Angeles know that our diversity is our strength since its founding in 1781. We are proud of our Mexican, Central American, and Latino heritage. I'm proud to stand here today with you to help promote our thousands of Hispanic small businesses and to celebrate our diversity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ana. And now a few words from Frank Montes, Chairman of the Board for the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, Councilman. Good morning, City Council. First, I'd like to start by thanking the city for supporting the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce on its 40th year anniversary and supporting the Latino community and our Latino small businesses throughout the state. Again, my name is Frank Montes. I'm the chairman of the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce and the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce Foundation. Thank you all for the warm welcome. Our organization represents the interest of over 800,000 Hispanic-owned businesses throughout the state of California. Through our network of regional Hispanic chambers and business associations, the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce promotes the economic growth and development of Hispanic entrepreneurs and California's emerging businesses. We have been doing this since 1978. The convention will not only provide opportunities for convention attendees, but will help empower our regional chambers and small businesses, which we serve, as the voice for the economic prosperity of the city of Los Angeles and the state of California as a whole. Thank you, and I hope to see, if not all of you, most of you there at this statewide convention. Thank you again.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for the incredible work you do and the very important work you do, certainly with the growing Latino population in the state of California and soon to be the majority in the year 2050. It's so important to support small businesses in particular because they are the backbone of our economy. So the work you do is ensuring that California remains at the forefront of the world in terms of being one of the largest economies. And we thank you for that, and we thank you for all the work you do in looking to Los Angeles as your place to celebrate your 40th year. Congratulations. And on behalf of my colleagues here on the City Council, we'd like to proclaim August 22nd to 24th as California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce Convention Week in the City of Los Angeles. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weezar. Mr. Krikorian, you're next for your presentation, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Madam President. And during Mr. Weezar's presentation, we talked about the great diversity of this city and how this is the strength of the history of this city. And it's true that we feature large populations of people who have found a better future for their families here in Los Angeles from all over the world. And one of those communities that we're so proud to have here in my district and in many of our districts is the Thai American community, which has its largest population outside of Thailand right here in the city of Los Angeles. And I'm very proud that in North Hollywood we have an iconic center of that community in the Wat Thai Temple, which has been a cultural landmark and a place of learning and a place of worship, a place of serenity since 1979 when it opened after 7 years of construction to bring this authentic Thai Buddhist temple, the first one in America, to North Hollywood. And this is a place that is not only a spiritual place, it's a community gathering place. There are many festivals that take place marking Thai holidays and of course, celebrating the great cuisine of Thailand as well. And the work that the monks at the Thai temple do in preserving the Thai culture and the Thai language is really inspirational because it's something that so many ethnic groups here in Los Angeles, it's a challenge that so many have to face of trying to have assimilation as Americans at the same time as we preserve the cultural heritage that we all hold so precious. And the Wat Thai Temple is a center of doing exactly that. So in that regard, every year, a group of highly qualified graduates of Chulalongkorn University in Thailand spend a year living here in Los Angeles and teaching at the Wat Thai Temple. They teach the Thai language, they teach traditional Thai music and dance to children at the temple, and then in addition there's a summer residency program where recent grads also get a taste of our culture and the experience of living in Los Angeles and the great diversity that we offer while also providing this incredible service to the young Thai American community here as well. So the teachers get not only an opportunity to see Los Angeles, to teach others, but they also get to improve their own English skills and build relationships here. So it really is a win-win for the teachers, for the students, and for our community. And I'm so grateful for the relationship that I've had with the Wat Thai Temple, and I'm very pleased to be able to introduce you to the Deputy Director of the Wat Thai Temple, Sumana Berua.
Thank you very much. We are very much grateful and honored that the Chamber has recognized our work, that what you have done at the Wat Thai Temple. We have a summer program that we have a teacher from Thailand. And also we have a one-year teachers that they're going to stay with us for 1 year to teaching our children. So that is what we have. And also that they come free from Bangkok to Los Angeles, only one purpose, that teaching to our children. They want our children to learn about Thai language and Thai culture, also Thai arts, both in music and dance. So that is what we like to have in Los Angeles, because most important that we like to educate our children to be good citizens of the country. and good member of the community. And so we get a good response from our community itself. So Sember have recognized this our noble work that what we do at the Watai Temple. We are so grateful, and we hope that many wonderful and best things we can give to the city itself in the future. So thank you again for your great opportunity give us to come to express our feeling. Thank you very much.
So we'll be presenting certificates to each of the teachers in the back, but I do just want to say thank you to all of you who've come to Los Angeles for contributing your skills and your knowledge to the young Thai Americans who are here, but also enriching our entire community by being here. So to all of the teachers, thank you very much, and to the leaders of the temple as well. I'm sure I can extend on their behalf an invitation to all of you. Come visit us in Council District 2. Come visit Wat Thai Temple. It's a wonderful experience to visit there.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. Mr. Harris-Dawson?
I just want to rise and thank you, Mr. Krikorian, for bringing this presentation, and thank all of you for being with us in the City of Angels and in the People's House here at City Hall. I cannot articulate to you how important it is, the investment that you make in this city, that you think enough of us to set up a program where there's the kind of exchange that not only builds connections, lets us know who you are, but also lets us learn a little bit more about who we are. And so we're very, very grateful to you, and anything we can do to make this program more hospitable in the City of Angels, I certainly will line up to do that, and sign me up to visit the temple in North Hollywood. Thank you all so much.
We'll set it up.
We'll set it up, Mr.
Okay.
Harris-Dawson. They have the best food on the weekend.
They do. Thank you very much, Madam
Thank
President.
you very much.
members.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. That concludes our presentations for today. Mr. City Clerk, what's before us now?
Madam President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
Posted and referred. Members, are there any announcements? There are no announcements. The desk is clear. So let's go ahead and rise for adjourning motions. Are there any adjourning motions on my right? Seeing none. Any adjourning motions on my left? Seeing none. Our meeting is adjourned. Have a great day.